When the power goes out, the rules of society go with it. No cameras, no street lights, no 911. Your home? It's a glowing target in a city swallowed by darkness. If you're not ready when the grid fails, you're already vulnerable. Think it won't happen? Think again. Hurricanes, cyber attacks, rolling blackouts. Entire regions plunged into chaos without warning. And what happens after the lights go out? That's the part no one wants to talk about. The first few hours, people stay calm. They light candles, scroll their phones, and wait for the power to come back. But then night falls, cell towers fail, grocery shelves empty, security systems die, and the thin line between order and chaos, it vanishes. This is when break-ins surge, when desperate people do desperate things. And if you think the police are coming, think again. They're overwhelmed somewhere else. A blackout isn't just an inconvenience, it's a test of how prepared you are to protect your home and your family. If you haven't secured your home before the power goes out, you're already too late. So here's your guide, your checklist. Let's start with the first line of defense, because that's where they'll try to get in. 1. Reinforce entry points. Your door's either your defense or your downfall. When the grid goes down, your doors become the first line of defense, or the first point of failure. Criminals don't waste time. They're not picking locks or cracking safes. They're kicking in doors. And the sad reality? Most homes are laughably easy to break into. A few well-placed kicks, and they're inside. Start with the basics. Your front and back doors. Those tiny screws holding your strike plates, rip them out. Replace them with 3-inch heavy-duty screws that anchor deep into the framing studs, not just the flimsy door trim. This one upgrade can turn a 10-second forced entry into a 2-minute struggle. And in a blackout, 2 minutes is the difference between a break-in and a retreat. Next, invest in a real deadbolt. Not the cheap, flimsy ones from the bargain bin. You need a grade 1 or grade 2 deadbolt. Something that can take a beating. Pair it with a reinforcement bar or a door jammer, especially for overnight security. These aren't just gadgets. They're lifesavers when the grid fails, and you're on your own. Don't forget the hinges. If your door has exterior hinges, you've got a glaring vulnerability. Reinforce them with non-removable pins, or, better yet, replace the door entirely. And while you're at it, check the garage access door. It's often the weakest entry point in the entire house. Reinforce it the same way you would your front door. Now, let's talk about windows. They're soft targets, but you can make them harder to breach. Don't apply security film to the glass. It's clear, nearly invisible, and makes shattering the window a much bigger challenge. Add window locks, wooden dowels for sliding windows, or even screws to limit how far they can open. The goal isn't to make your home impenetrable. It's to make it the least appealing target on the block. Criminals are opportunists. If your home looks like too much work, they'll move on to an easier target. In a blackout, there's no 911, no alarm company, and no neighbors rushing to help. Your preparation is your protection. Do it. Light up the darkness. Make your home a hard target. When the power goes out, darkness becomes a weapon. It cloaks intruders, masks their movements, and gives them the confidence to test your defenses. If your property is shrouded in shadows, you've just painted a target on your home. The solution? Light it up. On your terms, not the grid's. Solar-powered, motion-activated lights are your best friend here. Charge during the day and spring to life the moment someone steps into their range. Place them strategically. Start with the front door, back door, and garage. Then expand to cover corners, pathways, and any shadowed spots where someone could hide. When those lights snap on, they're not just illuminating your property, they're sending a message: you've been detected. Move along. Most break-ins during blackouts aren't carefully planned heists. Instead, they're desperate, opportunistic acts. A sudden burst of light is often enough to make an intruder think twice and vanish into the night. Inside your home, the strategy flips. Go dim, go discreet. Use red or amber filters on flashlights and lanterns to protect your night vision and reduce outward glow. Avoid backlighting yourself in windows. A single candle in a second-stream window can be seen for hundreds of feet in total darkness. Blackout curtains are non-negotiable. They're not just for sleep, they're a security measure. Heavy-duty blackout curtains block visibility, turning your home from a glowing fishbowl into a fortress. If you don't have them, improvise. Use blankets, tarps, or aluminum-lined emergency covers duct-taped over windows. Don't overlook the small details. Even a crack under a door can leak light like a beacon. Use towels, draft blockers, or foam strips to seal gaps. And for the outside, consider low-tech additions like glow-in-the-dark tape on gates and steps, or reflective markers on trees and fences. These create a map for you while making your yard unpredictable for intruders. Lighting is a double-edged sword. Outside, it's a deterrent. Inside, it's a risk. Manage it wisely and you'll make your home a hard target when the grid goes down. 3. Control visibility. Stay off the radar. In a blackout, light isn't just a convenience, it's a liability. A single flicker of light can turn your home into a glowing target in a sea of darkness. And trust me, the attention it draws won't be from friendly neighbors. It'll be from desperate people looking for supplies, food, or worse. The solution? Total light discipline. Start with blackout curtains. They're your first line of defense against prying eyes. Invest in heavy-duty panels for every room you might use during an outage. Bonus points if they're thermal, as they'll also help regulate temperature when there's no AC. But don't stop there. Reinforce the effect with blankets, tarps, or aluminum-lined emergency covers duct-taped over windows. Quick, cheap, and brutally effective. And don't forget about doors. Even a tiny crack under the frame can leak light like a spotlight in total darkness. Use towels, draft blockers, or foam strips to seal off gaps. Inside the house, keep lighting low and discreet. Use headlamps with red filters, LED lanterns with adjustable brightness, or even glow sticks in high-traffic areas. Assign zones. One room lit at a time with doors shut to prevent light leaks. If you have kids, prep them ahead of time. Explain the importance of keeping light contained. Make it a drill, a routine, something they understand before it becomes critical. Want to go next level? Pair your blackout curtains with exterior deterrents. Solar-powered lights outside, blackout barriers inside. It's a 1-2 punch that keeps you off the radar while making your home a nightmare for anyone trying to sneak in. In a blackout, visibility is vulnerability. Silence, shadow, and self-control are your best defenses. The less attention your home draws, the safer you'll be. 4. Layered early warning systems. Hear them before they're inside. In a blackout, your greatest asset is awareness. You can have the strongest locks, the brightest lights, and the best tools, but if someone's already inside before you know it, you've lost half the battle. That's why layered early warning systems are not a luxury, they're a necessity. Start with the outer perimeter. Battery-powered motion detectors are cheap, easy to install, and don't rely on Wi-Fi or electricity. Place them along fences, porches, and garages. These devices are loud enough to wake you up and alert you to movement before anyone gets close. They're not fancy, but they work. Move inward with window alarms and door sensors. These stick-on devices emit a piercing sound when triggered. They're simple, affordable, and don't require a power grid to function. You don't need an expensive home security system. You need noise and awareness. For a low-tech approach, string up tripwires with bells or cans. It's old school, but in a silent night, even a small noise can be a game-changer. Gravel paths are another underrated tool. Nothing sneaks across crunching gravel unnoticed. If you have dogs, they're your best natural alarm system. A well-trained dog doesn't need batteries or installation. They'll hear, smell, and sense intruders long before you do. Just make sure they're fed, trained, and ready to alert you when it matters most inside your home. Keep your layout defensible. Know where your flashlights, tools, and weapons are located. Practice responding to alarms in the dark. Muscle memory is critical when panic sets in. Early warning systems aren't just about detection, they're about buying time. Time to grab your gear, time to secure your family, time to decide whether to confront or retreat. In a blackout, every second counts, and the ability to hear them before they reach you could be the difference between safety and disaster. 5. Secure the garage, your home's weakest link. When people think of break-ins, they picture someone smashing a window or kicking in the front door. But during a blackout, your garage is often the easiest way in. It's big, overlooked, and usually far less secure than the rest of your home. Worst of all, most garages are directly connected to the house, making them a direct pipeline to your family. Step 1. Treat the interior garage door, the one leading into your home, as an external entry point. Reinforce it like you would your front door. Install a heavy-duty deadbolt, replace the short screws in the hinges and strike plate with 3-inch screws, and keep it locked at all times, even when you're home. Next, focus on the overhead garage door. When the power goes out, many people leave the automatic opener connected. Big mistake. A coat hanger and a bit of know-how are all it takes for someone to pop it open in seconds. Disengage the opener and secure the door with a manual padlock or a security bar on the inside track. This simple step makes forced entry significantly harder. Don't forget about side doors or access doors. Reinforce them with door jammers, bar locks, or even a wedge. These small additions can buy you the precious seconds you need to respond. Visibility is another critical factor. Install a motion-activated solar light above the garage. In a blackout, when the entire street is pitch black, a sudden burst of light can be a powerful deterrent. It not only alerts you, but also sends a clear message to intruders. You've been seen. Your garage can either be a secure buffer zone or a glaring vulnerability. Treat it with the same level of security as the rest of your home, because if someone gets into your garage, they're already one step closer to your family. 6. Backup power for critical systems. Stay operational when the grid fails. When the power goes out, your home reverts to the 1800 unless you've got backup power. But you don't need a bunker full of generators to stay operational. You just need a smart plan, a few key devices, and a clear understanding of your priorities. First, identify what critical systems actually means. It's not your air conditioner or your big screen TV. It's your security lights, door sensors, cameras, radios, phones, and any medical devices. These are the essentials that keep you safe and connected. Start with a solar generator. Portable power stations like the Jackery, Bluetti, or EcoFlow are game changers. They can silently power lights, charge devices, and keep your security systems running without the need for fuel. Pair them with foldable solar panels and you've got a sustainable, rechargeable setup that doesn't draw attention like a noisy gas generator. Next, stockpile batteries. AAA, USB power banks, whatever your devices need, have plenty on hand. Rechargeable batteries combined with solar-powered chargers can stretch your power supply for weeks. Every flashlight, motion sensor, and walkie-talkie should have backups ready to go. If you're using wired security cameras, consider switching to wireless, battery-powered models that store footage locally on SD cards. When the Wi-Fi goes down, cloud-based cameras are useless. Local storage ensures you still capture what's happening even in a blackout. Label everything and practice a blackout run. Know exactly how much power each system uses and how long your backup solutions will last. If you only have one solar battery bank, decide in advance whether it's powering your perimeter lights or recharging a medical device. Backup power isn't just about convenience, it's about survival. When the grid fails, the house with working lights, cameras, and radios isn't just safer, it's a tactical advantage. You're not just surviving the blackout, you're staying one step ahead of the chaos. 7. Create a safe room or hard corner. Your last line of defense. When all else fails, and let's be real, sometimes it does, you need a fallback plan. Not some Hollywood-style panic room hidden behind a bookshelf, but a practical, defensible space where your family can regroup and ride out a threat. This is your safe room. Or, if space is tight, it might just be a hard corner with cover and visibility. Either way, it's not optional, it's survival. Start by choosing the right location. This isn't about comfort, it's about strategy. Look for an interior room with no or minimal windows, a solid locking door, and a clear view of the main approach points. For most families, this ends up being a master bedroom, a large closet, or even a corner of the basement. If none of those are options, pick the most structurally sound space you can defend. Once you've chosen the spot, it's time to gear up. Stock it with essentials, a flashlight, an emergency phone or radio, extra batteries, and self-defense tools. Whether it's pepper spray, a tactical baton, or a legally owned firearm, make sure it's something you're trained and authorized to use. Keep first aid supplies, bottled water, and high-calorie snacks within reach. This isn't just a place to hide. It might be where you stay for hours or even overnight. Reinforce the door. A cheap doorstop, wedge, or a metal brace can turn a flimsy interior door into a serious obstacle. Even a few seconds of resistance can give you the edge you need to protect your family. And don't forget about visibility. If you can see the approach to your safe room, you'll know what's coming before it gets there. But here's the part most people overlook. Drills. Your family needs to know exactly what to do if you call for lockdown. No yelling, no confusion. Everyone moves to the safe room, locks the door, and stays silent until you give the all clear. Practice this until it's second nature. In a blackout, when chaos is just a knock away, discipline and preparation can mean the difference between safety and disaster. A safe room isn't paranoia, it's a plan. And sometimes survival is as simple as knowing where to stand and when to stay put. 8. Build a neighborhood watch network. Strength in numbers. Here's a hard truth that lone wolf preppers hate to admit. No one survives long-term alone, especially not during a blackout. When the lights go out, your greatest asset isn't your gear, it's your network. Blackouts turn neighborhoods into pressure cookers. By the second or third night without power, desperation sets in. Tempers flare, boundaries blur, and the friendly neighbor you waved at last week might start eyeing your garage door. That's why building a trusted neighborhood watch group isn't just a good idea, it's essential. Start now. Identify 2 to 4 households on your block that seem level-headed or prepared. They don't need to be hardcore preppers, just people you trust not to panic. Have honest conversations. Ask them, if the power goes out for a week, what's your plan? You'll be surprised how many people haven't thought it through. Once you've got a group, establish a basic system. Swap phone numbers, agree on check-in times, and set up simple signals like flashlights or whistles to communicate movement, threats, or emergencies. You don't need high-tech gadgets, just a plan. Map out your neighborhood, who lives where, who has what. Maybe you've got a security camera and your neighbor has a generator. Share strengths and cover each other's weaknesses. A single house is an easy target, but a group of houses watching each other? That's a perimeter. Don't forget about the vulnerable members of your community, like the elderly or single parents. They're often the first targets in a crisis. Helping them now not only strengthens your network, but also builds goodwill. And in a blackout, goodwill is as valuable as gold. History proves this works. During the 2003 Northeast blackout, many break-ins weren't stopped by police. They were stopped by neighbors. A guy with a whistle, a woman with a flashlight on her porch. Visibility and communication deterred crime before it even started. This isn't about forming a militia or overcomplicating things. Start simple. Know who you can count on and who can count on you. In a blackout, your network is your safety net. And when the grid goes down, the neighborhoods that work together are the ones that survive. 9. Stock tactical tools. Strategically. Every second counts. When the power goes out and chaos creeps in, your margin for error shrinks to nothing. You won't have time to rummage through a drawer or dig through a closet. In a blackout home invasion, 3 seconds can mean the difference between safety and disaster. That's why your tools need to be staged, accessible, and ready to go. No exceptions. Start with the essentials, flashlights, but not the cheap dim ones you find in a bargain bin. You need high-lumen tactical flashlights, 1,000 lumens or more, with a strobe function. Why? Because light isn't just illumination, it's a weapon. A strobe to the eyes of an intruder can disorient them long enough for you to act. Keep one in every room, not just in the house somewhere, but within arm's reach. Bedside drawers, under couches, even mounted in hallway. These aren't just tools, they're shields. Next, think non-lethal defense. Pepper spray is a must. It's affordable, effective, and legal in most places. Stage it like you would a fire extinguisher. One in the bedroom, one by the front and back doors, one in the kitchen, and another near the garage or basement entry. If you have kids, store these tools out of their reach, but within yours. And don't just stash them. Train your teens to use them. Blackouts. Don't care about age, and everyone in the house should know how to defend themselves. For firearm owners, accessibility is everything. A gun locked in a safe across the house is useless in an emergency. Invest in fast consecutive safes, biometric, silent, and anchored. Practice opening them under stress, in the dark, with your adrenaline pumping. If you can't access your weapon quickly and confidently, it's just a paperweight. Don't stop there. Add tactical pens, telescoping batons, heavy-duty flashlights that double as bludgeons, and utility knives to your arsenal. These tools aren't about turning your home into a fortress. They're about giving you options when you're most vulnerable. And don't forget your car. A glove box without a flashlight, multi-tool, window breaker, or a seatbelt cutter is a wasted opportunity. Blackouts don't just trap you at home. They can leave you stranded on the road. The real question is this: if someone broke in right now, with no lights, no time, and no warning, could you respond? If the answer is no, it's time to rethink your setup. Stage your tools, train with them, because when panic walks through your door, preparation should be waiting. 10. Run a lights-out security drill. Test your plan before it's too late. You've stocked up on supplies, reinforced your doors, set up motion lights, and prepped your safe room. But here's the harsh truth. None of it matters if your plan falls apart in the dark. Gear is only half the equation. The other half? Practice. The best way to secure your home before the next blackout is to simulate one. Pick a night. Announce it or don't. Kill the lights, flip the breakers, and stash the phones. No cheating. You're living through a power-down scenario as if the grid just failed without warning. Within minutes, the cracks in your plan will start to show. That flashlight in the kitchen drawer? No one knows it's there. The batteries in your lantern? Dead. The alarm on the back door? Not loud enough. This drill isn't just an exercise, it's a reality check. Start by testing your movement. Can you navigate your home in total darkness without tripping or making noise? Can you move from room to room without announcing your position to the entire neighborhood? Practice using low glow lights like red-filtered flashlights or dim lanterns to avoid glowing like a beacon from the street. Next, test your communication. Can your family relay messages with hand signals or whispers? Does everyone know how to operate the radios, flashlights, or other tools? Is your safe room actually defensible, or is it just a false sense of security? Make it a family affair. Turn it into a challenge. Who can find their go bag the fastest? Who can hold position in silence the longest? Who remembers the emergency signal? These drills aren't just about preparation, they're about building confidence and muscle memory. When the drill is over, debrief. What worked? What didn't? What surprised you? What slowed you down? Use this feedback to tighten your plan, because when a real blackout hits, you won't get a second chance. 11. Secure your water supply, the lifeline you can't ignore. When the power goes out, water is often the first resource to become unreliable. Municipal pumps fail, treatment plants shut down, and suddenly, the clean water you take for granted is no longer flowing. Without water, survival becomes a ticking clock. That's why securing your water supply before the next blackout isn't just smart, it's essential. Start by storing water. The general rule is 1 gallon per person per day, but in a blackout scenario, more is always better. Stockpile at least a 2-week supply for your household. Use food-grade water storage containers and keep them in a cool, dark place to prevent contamination. If space is tight, collapsible water containers are a great option. But storage alone isn't enough. You need a way to purify water if your supply runs out. Invest in a high-quality water filter like a Berkey or a portable straw filter. These can remove bacteria, viruses, and other contaminants from questionable water sources. Keep water purification tablets on hand as a backup. They're lightweight, affordable, and effective in a pinch. Don't overlook rainwater collection. If you live in an area where it's legal, set up a rain barrel system. Even a basic setup can provide a steady supply of water during extended outages. Just make sure to filter and purify the water before drinking it. If you have a well, consider a manual pump or a solar-powered backup system. Wells are a fantastic resource, but they're useless without a way to access the water when the grid is down. Finally, think about accessibility. Water stored in the basement won't help you if you're stuck upstairs during an emergency. Stage smaller containers throughout your home, under sinks, in closets, or even in your safe room. Water isn't just for drinking. You'll need it for cooking, cleaning, and basic hygiene. In a blackout, when sanitation systems fail, water becomes your first line of defense against disease. The bottom line? Without water, nothing else matters. Secure your supply now, because when the taps run dry, it's already too late. 12-12. Harden your mindset, the most important tool you have. All the gear, tools, and preparation in the world won't save you if your mindset isn't ready. In a blackout, when the world around you descends into chaos, your ability to stay calm, focused, and decisive becomes your greatest asset. Securing your home fast before the next blackout hits isn't just about physical preparation. It's about mental resilience. Start by accepting the reality of the situation. Blackouts aren't just inconvenient, they're dangerous. They strip away the systems you rely on and expose vulnerabilities you didn't even know you had. Acknowledge this now, so you're not blindsided when it happens. Next, train yourself to think clearly under pressure. Panic is your enemy. It clouds judgment, slows reaction time, and leads to mistakes. Practice staying calm in stressful situations. Run blackout drills, simulate emergencies, and push yourself to make decisions quickly and confidently. Visualization is a powerful tool. Walk through potential scenarios in your mind. What would you do if someone tried to break in? How would you respond if your water supply ran out? By mentally rehearsing these situations, you'll be better prepared to handle them in real life. Build a routine. In a blackout, Structure is your anchor. Establish a daily schedule for tasks like checking supplies, securing entry points, and communicating with your family or neighbors. A routine keeps you focused and prevents the chaos from overwhelming you. Don't underestimate the importance of physical fitness. In a crisis, your body is as important as your mind. Whether it's carrying supplies, defending your home, or simply staying on your feet for long hours, physical strength and endurance can make all the difference. Finally, cultivate adaptability. No plan survives first contact with reality. Things will go wrong, supplies will run out, unexpected challenges will arise. The key is to stay flexible and resourceful. If one solution fails, pivot to another. Your mindset is the foundation of your preparedness. It's what allows you to turn fear into action, chaos into order, and uncertainty into opportunity. Gear can break, supplies can run out, but a hardened mindset will carry you through. In a blackout, the strongest weapon you have isn't in your hand. It's in your head. Prepare it now, because when the lights go out, your mindset will be the difference between survival and surrender.